Hey everyone, it's been a year. You know what that means? It's time to talk about anniversaries.
Franchises like to attribute a legendary status to characters from preceding installments. For example, in Kamen Rider, the past main riders are literally known as legend riders, or how the first Flash, Jay Garrick, is portrayed with a legendary air in more modern stories. They're legacy heroes, if you will. Of course, even Ultraman does this. In recent years, there has been a lot of talk about how companies don't know how to create new things and only know how to capitalize on older stuff. Especially in modern tokusatsu, where it seems like every show has a shoehorned legacy character celebrated somehow. It's said that modern toku has become nothing but celebrations, tributes, and anniversaries in some way or another. For a recent example, the year 2021 saw all three of the main tokusatsu franchises celebrating their anniversaries, with Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger for the 45th anniversary of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider Revise for the 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider, and of course, Ultraman Trigger for the 55th anniversary of Ultraman and the 25th anniversary of Ultraman Tiga. And not to mention all the smaller installments anniversaries too. Speaking for Ultraman, as I'm not that well versed in the other two franchises, even in non-anniversary series, legacy characters still show their face somehow in gimmick toys, as fusion components, or as power-ups, or as mentors, and it's not just the Ultras, but the Kaijus too. But has it always been this way?
Yes.
To some extent. Tokusatsu has always actually done stuff we call celebrations for a long time now. Back in the day, guest appearances were the common way to do a tribute. Ultra 7 and Ultraman appearing in Return of Ultraman, the various Ultra Brothers appearances in Ultraman Ace, Taro and Leo, Ultraman in Ultraman Tiga, and on the Kaiju side, there's stuff like Alien Baltan's reappearance in Return of Ultraman and Ultraman AT, Eleking, Mephilas and Bemstar in Ultraman Taro, and so on and so forth. While the main purpose of doing these was to get higher TV ratings, it was also beneficial as they could get more mileage out of the suit while it's still usable. Another way tributes were done is via episode structure. Usually an episode would follow a similar premise to that of an earlier show, such as Ultraman Dyna's Neosaurus episode, loosely following the Jiras episode from Ultraman 1966, and also the Geomos 2-parter, which takes broad strokes from the Gomorrah episodes from Ultraman. Recently, tributes are also done via having an older Ultraman be sort of a mentor figure to a newer Ultraman, such as Ultraman Taro to Ultraman Ginga, and Ultraman Zero to Ultraman Z. Ultra 7 also became a mentor to Ultraman Leo, but that wasn't really for celebrating reasons.
If this had been going on for a long time now, what's the difference between then and now? Is it all just rose-tinted nostalgia glasses?
Some would be quick to say, oh, but those times they didn't aggressively try to sell you the toys, which is kinda true, but it also lies in the execution. Now, why did people like the tribute to Ultraman Ace in Ultraman Z so much? Because it felt genuine. They didn't make Z Ace's son or anything like that, nor did Ace's appearance invalidate any lore or rules of the universe. Just a really well written episode that shed light on Z's upbringing and enhanced Ace's character. On the other hand, let's talk about Tiga's appearance in Ultraman Trigger, which, while well received compared to the rest of the series, also had a lot more mixed reactions from some fans, especially Tiga's diehard fans. One, they had him show up in the exact same episode that Ace made a guest appearance in Z, which was episode 19. It kind of makes it a bit lame because it's like they had this formula that they had to follow. And two, the episode wasn't really that well written. It started out with an entirely different conflict, which was resolved in a sort of different way. You could replace Tiga with literally any other Ultraman, and it wouldn't have changed anything here. And that's my opinion, of course. But you know what they did right after that? They advertised the SH Figuarts for Kyrialoid. Now, I don't blame them for making the celebrations and anniversaries more ham-fisted these days. After all, there's a lot of things all over that people can give their time to, so Bandai has to somehow make sure that people know of the Ultraman brand or even any other brand that they have. And the opportunity for celebrations is ripe because people who grew up with Ultraman from the Showa era and the Heisei era are now adults and young adults, and this is where the money truly lies. If you look at the sales figures for the Ultraman franchise in 2021 and 2022, it's easy to see why they'll continue this approach. Out of all the revenue generated from last year, how much of that was actually from Tiga moving the numbers? And if you look at all the toys that they sold, most of it are collector's items, which really yield a lot of money.
I never said I didn't like them.
And of course, this year being Ultra 7's 55th anniversary, he's already getting celebrated to hell and back. In Decker, he's tributed by the usage of the capsule monsters, but to be honest, 7's pretty much celebrated every year. And just to name a few of his past celebrations, in Ultraman Trigger, it was in the form of Metron, Marlulu, and Nurse Desai. In Ultraman Z, he and his apprentice lines were components of Alpha Edge, and Wyndham and Savenga were prominent giants too. Now, what is the main takeaway from all of this?
We get cool merchandise?
I suppose that current market conditions mean that the tokusatsu companies and toy makers needed a way to keep profits afloat. Heck, the Ultraman franchise was practically saved by selling nostalgia. There's just too much content nowadays compared to the days when tokusatsu was just starting out. Anniversaries almost always help to improve sales, which can then help to fund original projects that fans would like. Stuff like Ultra Galaxy Fight or Shin Ultraman movies, just to name a few. Although, good talent can also produce something that sells well and is a great production.
Well, I guess that's all for today. What's the takeaway from all of this? Take away their calendars!